You were not imagining it. The distance, the silence, the strange feeling that someone has been thinking about you without saying a word. God says the delay is breaking now. The first move is already beginning. Before this contact happens in the natural, it is happening in the spirit first. That is why your discernment has been stronger lately. That is why certain memories suddenly came back. That is why you cannot fully move on from what God placed in your heart. This is not random emotion. This is confirmation. And I need you to stay with me carefully, because what God is revealing in this message may explain why things suddenly start changing after a long season of waiting. There is a person God has been dealing with privately, convicting, correcting, preparing, and they are getting closer to reaching out. If you believe God still speaks through timing and confirmation, comment the words, "God is aligning this." I truly believe that comment is going to strengthen somebody watching right now who has been fighting silent discouragement. And if this channel continues confirming your spirit, subscribe right now and connect yourself to this community of believers standing in faith for God-ordained relationships. Because what is happening next is bigger than emotion. It is divine movement. The hardest part about waiting is not the waiting itself. It is wondering if heaven still remembers what was promised to you. Some people watching this have smiled in public while secretly asking God questions in private. Did I hear you wrong? Was it only my emotions? Why has nothing happened yet? But God says the silence was never abandonment, it was preparation. Isaiah 30:18 says, "The Lord waits to be gracious to you." Think about that. Even heaven understands timing. Not every connection can survive premature movement. Some people had to mature first. Some hearts had to heal first. Some pride had to break first. And honestly, if the contact happened months ago, it probably would have collapsed under the weight of fear, confusion, or emotional instability. But God has been working beneath the surface this entire time, quietly, strategically. You thought nothing was happening because you could not see movement externally, but spiritual preparation often happens invisibly before physical manifestation appears. That is how God works many times. Jesus spoke peace to storms before the disciples understood what was happening around them. Joseph was promoted after years of silence. Ruth stepped into divine connection after a painful season she did not understand. And some of you are entering that kind of turning point now. You are closer than you realize. The enemy wanted you exhausted emotionally before this breakthrough arrived. That is why discouragement intensified recently. That is why doubt became louder. That is why you almost stopped believing entirely. Because when heaven starts shifting something into place, resistance often increases before manifestation appears. But hear me clearly. God did not bring you this far to leave your story unfinished. The contact is not happening because you forced it, not because you chased it, not because you manipulated anything. It is happening because God knows the timing is becoming right. And for some of you, this first move may look very small at first. A message, a sudden conversation, an apology, a check-in, a reopened door. Do not despise small beginnings. Zechariah 4:10 reminds us of that. Sometimes one simple message becomes the beginning of a completely different season. But I also need to say something important. Do not allow desperation to control your response when this contact happens. Stay grounded, stay spiritually centered, because when people wait a long time for movement, there can be a temptation to emotionally rush ahead of God. But wisdom still matters. Discernment still matters. Peace still matters. If it's truly from God, it will not require you to abandon your value, your boundaries, or your relationship with Him. Real alignment brings peace with clarity, not confusion mixed with anxiety. And I believe many of you are about to witness God restoring hope where disappointment tried to settle permanently. The interesting part is this: While you were praying for communication, God was working on transformation, because restored communication without transformed hearts only creates repeated pain. So God slowed things down intentionally, not to punish you, to protect the future He intends to build. And somebody listening right now needs to hear this deeply. The waiting season did not make you weak, it made you wiser. You pray differently now. You discern differently now. You love differently now. You are no longer chasing attention. You are seeking alignment. That changes everything. And I believe heaven honors that maturity. Before we continue deeper into what happens next spiritually, comment these words: "My season is shifting." There is power in agreement. And if this message is already speaking directly to your situation, make sure you save this video and add it to the playlist linked in the description below. Stay connected to messages that keep your faith alive during transition seasons, because what is happening next is bigger than emotion. It is divine movement. There comes a moment when running no longer works, when silence stops helping, when pride loses its grip, when the silence becomes louder than the avoidance. That's where this person is now. God has a way of confronting hearts privately before He changes situations publicly, and I believe many of you are witnessing the beginning of that process. For a long time, this person tried to suppress what they felt, not always because they didn't care, sometimes because they were afraid of vulnerability, afraid of rejection, afraid of responsibility, afraid of the depth of this connection. But eventually, God will allow someone to feel the weight of what they kept ignoring. Psalm 32:8 says, "I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go." Notice something important. God doesn't only guide the person waiting, He also guides the person being prepared. That means while you were praying for clarity, heaven was already dealing with the other side of the story too. And recently, something has been shifting internally within them. They may not fully understand it themselves yet, but they feel it. The constant thoughts, the sudden memories, the conviction, the inability to completely disconnect emotionally. God is bringing unfinished things back to the surface, not to torment them, to confront them. Because when something is truly ordained by God, running from it never produces peace. You can delay it, ignore it, distract yourself from it, but eventually truth catches up. And some of you have been asking God why this person suddenly seems restless lately, why their energy feels different, why they seem emotionally unsettled, why communication patterns are changing unexpectedly. It's because internal resistance is weakening, the wall is cracking, and once God begins softening a heart, things can change very quickly. One conversation can shift everything. One moment of honesty can restart what looked dead. One act of obedience can unlock an entirely new direction. But I need you to hear this carefully. Do not idolize the person. Keep God at the center. Because sometimes people receive a prophetic word and accidentally make the relationship more important than the one who gave the promise. Never let that happen. Your peace cannot become dependent on another human being. Your identity cannot become trapped inside somebody else's decision. God must remain first, always. And I believe this season has actually been teaching many of you emotional balance. Years ago, one delayed message might have destroyed your peace completely. Now you are learning patience, wisdom, spiritual maturity. You are learning how to trust God even while waiting for manifestation. That growth matters more than you realize, because healthy love requires healthy foundations. And sometimes God spends more time preparing the people than preparing the relationship itself. I also feel strongly that some viewers have been battling disappointment from previous situations that looked promising but ended painfully. That pain created fear. Fear of believing again, fear of hoping again, fear of opening your heart again. But God says not every ending was a punishment. Some endings were protection. Some people were only assignments. Some were lessons. Some were preparation seasons. But what God ordains carries different fruit. Not perfection, not fantasy, but peace, growth, direction, purpose. And for many of you, this upcoming contact will carry a different spiritual weight than past situations. You will sense sincerity differently. You will discern maturity differently because both of you are not the same people you were before. Time changed things. Prayer changed things. Pain changed things. God changed things. That is why this next season cannot be approached with old fear. You have to stop expecting abandonment every time something good begins forming. You have to stop assuming silence automatically means rejection. You have to stop interpreting every delay as denial. Sometimes heaven is simply arranging timing beyond your understanding. Habakkuk 2:3 says, "The vision